Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Oh, how about that cigar?
Ooh, sultry.
Good evening.
Sultry.
So nice to be back.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 283 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on Rumble. And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, guys, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Join us in the comments as always. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking. We have a fantastic special guest coming up in just a couple minutes. And of course, click on all those big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the subscribe button, the follow button.
Smash them all.
Smash all those buttons, because that way you won't miss anything going on with How About That Cigar and How About That Cigar Live. So back in the studio, we took a week off for St. Patty's Day.
One second, please.
Yeah.
1 second.
Oh.
Justin, bring your ass. Bring your ass in this here. Now let's speak.
Now
we can speak.
Wait. What did you speak of? Where are we?
Were you here last week? We weren't. We weren't here last. Were you here last week?
Were you here last week? Because we were not here last week.
Let me look into the fields for this one.
Do you see that gerbil that got away from
Maybe
you?
there's somebody between one of those rows of tobacco behind you, and that you can ask if they were here last week.
Somebody was here.
Somebody was here last week. We were not here last week.
We were not.
Because it was a holiday.
It was. What was it?
Did you
Happy Drunken Day?
enjoy St. Patty's Day? Did you do anything for St. Patty's Day?
I smoked a barber pole cigar the day afterwards.
There you go. That's a celebration.
My wife had to have some corned beef and cabbage. Cabbage.
I haven't had corned beef and cabbage in years.
Oh.
We did some St. Patty's Day stuff kind of on Saturday, and then we spent the evening together on Monday kind of as a family and did some family stuff.
That guy stole my name. We're gonna have to share that. You're gonna have to like big sexy number 2 on there.
I love that. I love that. I mean, if you're gonna have a YouTube name,
you better have it. That's big sexy right there.
That's a good name right there. Okay, so the baseball regular season starts on Thursday. So Minnesota Twins 3-game homestand in St. Louis Cardinals.
So this might be the first time for the rest of the year that they're in first place.
Twins are not looking good for 2025
already.
Yankees are looking pretty good. So
we lost our ace, so that kind of sucks. So we better buy somebody real quick.
I think you'll be all right. The Twins are looking rough. I think the Yankees are going to be okay. You guys, you start off against the Brewers. Brewers pretty good. So we'll see how it goes.
I'll have a couple beers and spank their ass.
So the Timberwolves actually are kind of on a run. The Timberwolves they've won 9 of their last 11. So they're on a little bit. They're playing now. If anybody feels like giving live scoring updates while we're on, please leave those in the comments. And the Wild are
not wild.
Well, they're in that stage where it's the Minnesota sports stage of what we call giving false hope.
Mediocre.
Because Kaprizov is still out, and it's so funny because they're like, "Oh, Kaprizov's coming back. Kaprizov's coming back. Kaprizov's coming back," and then they keep extending his timeline like by another week and another 2 weeks, and it's like at this rate, Kaprizov will be back after the season's over. It's not looking good. But they've won some good games in the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is that Minnesota sports fan stage of giving false hope.
Giving hope.
Yeah.
Speaking of false hope,
the Wolves lost.
Yeah, they just lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
119. Okay, so
the barber and the cigar company, I like him or her already. Don't know who they are, but I like you.
I like it.
So it's pretty fantastic that I have another Yankees
fan out there. Yeah, because there are so few Yankee fans in the world.
In Minnesota, there are a lot of Yankee haters.
Well, it's because you always beat us.
Yeah.
The Yankees always beat the
Like a
Twins.
drum.
What are you going to do?
Like a drum.
You know.
Boom, 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 boom.
And
What else? What else is going on?
sports wise, that's really, I mean, Final Four, or not Final Four, but March Madness is going on. There have been, some decent games, none that are like absolutely outrageous that I've seen.
Yes, but I was going to say in hockey.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of hockey, Wild are down 2.
Oh, Wild are down 2-0 right now. So there you go.
There's some dude.
False hope.
There's some dude out there. I forgot his name, Ovechkin or something like that. Some ski. That's about to
Ovechkin.
That's about to take Gretzky's.
He already did, I think. Did he see? He outscored.
Got nothing left from the 90s.
Gretzky. Well, okay, but does that mean that actually? Well, no, we'll talk about it. Does that mean that Gretzky is no longer the greatest of all time?
No, that's like saying, is Michael Jordan not the greatest of all time? He's still the greatest of all time.
Thank you. Yeah, Gretzky is still the greatest hockey player of all time.
And it's Mario Lemieux right after.
You're probably right about that. You're probably right about that. And then, is Michael Jordan the greatest player of all time, even though LeBron has scored more points than him?
Well, he's been playing for 50 years. What the hell you expect?
Exactly.
If Jordan played for 50 years, it'd be incredible. Well, again, he's not even number 2.
LeBron's not. I don't think. I think Kobe is number 2.
Yeah, the Black Mamba definitely.
I think Kobe's number 2, but that's just my personal opinion.
And then you got
LeBron. I put LeBron at number 3.
I put him at 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. I put him 3, top 5 definitely. But
he's definitely a marathon man.
I mean, the fact that he can keep playing as long as he has played, and he plays at a really high level. Don't get me wrong, he is outstanding, one of the best physical athletes of all time, but better than Michael Jordan?
No.
Give me a break. Not even.
All right. Let's do some reads. Let's do some drinking. Let's do some partying.
We got that.
Bob waiting for us.
Let's jump into tonight's spirit of.
I'm all fired up tonight.
I know. I love it. That's because we took a week off. We're like we're like the bull in the gate, written just waiting
ready
for
to buck somebody off.
Exactly. Let's do this evening's spirit of mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the ¡1 unranked cigar in the industry.
Can you see something for a second?
Yeah.
Look at Bob's face. He looks really bored.
No, he's in the zone. He's like the bull waiting for that chute to open up. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's bring our special guest onto the show. And as always, on How About That Cigar, special guests brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And the new Freestyle Live event pack features a unique Dominican forward expression. Today marks a new chapter for Drew Estate by introducing a silky smooth blend that places Dominican tobaccos squarely in the spotlight. This Dominican forward blend brings together Drew Estate's signature premium sweet cap and the highest grade Connecticut shade wrapper leaf. With an MSRP of $40, the new FSL pack contains 4 unbranded mystery cigars, along with an FSL torch lighter, an FSL dog tag necklace, and custom 10-count travel humidor. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and
gentlemen. Hey, can you repeat that one again?
I think somebody was already. It's like we're in the Grand Canyon. You can hear the echo just behind me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, help us out. If you would, please put your hands together and welcome to episode 283 of How About That Cigar Live, Bob, the cigar guy, Finley.
Hey, everybody. I got to tell you, I am stoked when y'all said that I could come on the show. I consider it an honor and a privilege to be hanging out with y'all. And I was not bored. I was just in awe. Y'all have such a chemistry going on back and forth. And so many reasons I'm glad I'm here. But one of them is that I will not get as near embarrassed when I go to PCA next month, because I call, every time I interview that company, I call them Pal Stanny. And so evidently I've been saying it wrong the whole time, and they've been very polite. So at least I'll have to watch this video a couple times and recite it over and over so I can say the name correctly.
Then when you get that right, you can try saying Mike Stephen Cabbage.
Yeah, try saying his last. I mean, all their words are hard to pronounce. Their company name, Mike's last name. It's all good. I don't know of many people that pronounce all that correctly.
Right.
I didn't. The first time I got to interview Steve Saka, I called the cigar to Mi Cuerda, and actually, I think it's the first time I ever laughed on video. It's still one of my cherished moments. I made the man laugh early on.
I'm going to call it
driving
that
that Ryder truck around. Mi Cuerda.
Mi Cuerda. I'm going to call it that from now on. I just realized that I didn't talk about the Spirit of Mystery. I went right through the ad read and I didn't even talk about it.
Tail. I was.
You were. So it's a
rye.
We have a rye this week, and here's the little close up of the glass right there. So we have a rye this week. Aroma is fantastic. Definitely got that spicy note to it, and I did just take a little sip of it actually, but it's got the spice, like when you get a spicy cigar that gets those kind of peppery notes back there. And this definitely has that. So is this can I ask for a hint if this is one that I've had before? Do you know if I've had this one before?
Yes,
I have had this. Okay, I'll keep drinking it. We'll reveal it later in the show.
Okay, so Bob, can you do the same thing? Tell us what you're drinking tonight, because I like this story and I like what you're drinking. And it just hit Minnesota not too long ago, I think.
So I don't, Chief's not in here, the First Lady's not in here, so I know what I'm drinking. And I know Corona Cigar is one of your sponsors, and I have some of this Horse Soldier Barrel Select by Corona Cigar Company. It came out a couple of years ago in one of their pairing setups. And what I loved about the Horse Soldier is that movie 13 Strong. One of the fellers that was in there, actually, when he got out, he started a distillery, and he actually talked to the people around September 11th, and got a piece of the trade center and took that steel and turned it into the mold to make the actual bottle. So that's in homage to everything that was going on through September 11th and then there right after. And the story's great, but the bourbon stands on itself by itself. It's delicious. It's delightful. It's lovely. And I toast this to you fellers.
Toast to you too, brother.
Back at you, brother. Cheers, everybody.
Salute.
So
well, you went inside. He was telling me about that. I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
we gotta get
100%. 100%.
The collection needs a.
We gotta. Yeah, let's go. We'll go down and visit Mr. Borshowitz down in good old Florida.
They have him here too, but
no, I know, but I'd rather get it.
Oh yeah, I'd rather go.
Yeah,
we need a trip.
Now, are y'all going to go to Barn Smoker this year in Florida?
No, sir. No, sir. It's a lean year for us. We won't be.
I hear you.
We won't be at PCA. We won't be at much really this year.
I will be in Virginia in a few weeks.
Yeah, you'll be at the Tobaccology
Crawfish Boil.
Yeah,
for the 5th year, and I will be at Stogie's world famous in Houston in a couple weeks too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. 2025. There's other family stuff going on, and it's kind of a lean year for us, but it's all good because we still get to sit down and have awesome conversations with guys like Bob.
Incredible guests. Yeah.
So Bob, I gotta say, when you first came onto the scene, I started seeing some of your stuff out there on YouTube and social media, social media outlets.
Oh, it's awful.
And stop that. But
the worst YouTuber on the land. Sorry.
I was taken by it right away because it was unlike anything else that was out there, and I mean that in the absolute best possible way, because it wasn't dry. It wasn't just like somebody droning on information. You make it fun. You make it interesting. You make it kind of over the top and irreverent, and bring all of your personality into it. So before we get into the ins and outs of how you do what you do on social media, I'm curious, and I know our viewers are as well. How did you get started in cigars, and how did that lead to you doing stuff related to cigars on social media?
Well, I'll try and make it as short as possible. When I was in the Marine Corps, there was a sergeant that was extremely aggressive in my training schools, in my infantry schools before I ended up becoming a recon Marine. But in that training, every time we would go on force marches or trainings, he always had a cigar in his mouth, and he would pull a cigar out of his mouth and he would yell and scream. And I said, you know what? That's a good exclamator. And so I wanted to smoke a cigar, and I went to the PX and I bought don't judge me, the Antonio and Cleopatra Grenadiers 5-pack.
Brother,
Oh my gosh.
that was some of my first cigars ever. I still to this day, sometimes I'll go on fishing trips in the summer with buddies of mine, and just for nostalgia's sake, we'll be at a gas station and we'll pick up a yellow box of Grenadiers. Nothing wrong with that, brother.
They're green. You can tie them into a knot. They're all rubbery. I mean, them things are they're a freaking hot mess, but they will do their job. And so then once I got out of the Marine Corps, got married to my wife, the first lady, Sarah, and we had kids, and I'd smoke an occasional cigar. I was that guy. You get a $20 bill, you go in the cigar store and you get 2 or 3 cigars, and that had to last you till Father's Day, Christmas, your birthday, or something like that. We lived in my kids were now in high school. We lived in a very bad neighborhood apartment complex, and I would sit out on my front porch, my little stoop, with my big dog, my Bible, and my cigars. And I talk to the neighbors, because I believe if you just are a presence, you don't have to be mean or anything. You just be pleasant and let them know you're there and that you see them. And then those ne'er-do-wellers don't hang out that much. They find somewhere else to go. And so my son came and he would sit down on the edge of the stoop while I was smoking cigars. And all of a sudden he started pouring out his life. Well, that was really neat, because when you got a high school kid, they don't talk to you much. How's school? Fine. How's life? Fine. How's everything? Yeah. Well, he started talking about things. And so I, being the manipulator that I am, I told my wife, I said, honey, our son is talking to me and it's really important. And he does it only when I smoke cigars. So I need to buy more cigars. And so that's how I started adding to a little bit of my humidor and had cigars on a regular basis. I was just a regular cigar smoker. Then Save the Leaf happened in 2014? I guess it was 2016. What is it? 2016. And they needed volunteers on the internet, on Facebook, to promote their whole protest the FDA, when the FDA was cranking down really hard.
Yeah.
They're going to protest at the Capitol. And so I said, I have no money, I have no clout, I have no contacts, but I'll do stupid videos. And so what I did was I created a character called Average Bob Cigar Smoker. And I did the old, this is your brain on drugs, with the frying pan thing, except I used a humidor, and I'd open up the humidor and I said, this is your humidor. And then I pulled tons of cigars out and throw it across the room. I threw it into a pillow. You couldn't see it. I wasn't tearing up my cigars. They're expensive. And then I said, this is your cigars on PCA or on FDA. And then I would close it down. And so I went to the event, and the first night we had the event, we were at a convention center, and all the cigar manufacturers were handing out cigars. And Justin Hunter, I think, from Alpha Cigar Company, it was an absinthe infused cigar. He gave me the cigar, and his mother was there, and she's a sommelier. And I told him that in the cold draw, I had tasted pineapples, and I thought I was in trouble. And come to find out that in their punch, in the pilon process, when they pull the pilon down and they re-moisten it, they'd re-moisten it with pineapple juice. And she said nobody had ever tasted that before in a cigar. And so one of the fellas there, Al Peter, a good friend of mine that I met at the rally, he actually said, I'm going to send you an Opus X Lost City. I want you to do a review on Facebook. And I said, don't do that. I've never had a $20 cigar, and I don't know what to do with it. And between him and my wife encouraging me that whole weekend, I said, fine, let's do it. And he sent me 5 cigars, 5 different cigars. And so I said, I would do 1 a week on Facebook, and then I'll be done. And by the time I did the second week, somebody else sent me 5 more cigars. By the time I did the 5th week, somebody else sent me 10 more cigars. And then I said, well, we'll do this until I run out of cigars people send me. Here we are 10 years later. Wow. My son said, let's put you on YouTube. And I told my son I didn't want to go on YouTube because I would have nobody follow me, and then I would know that I'm the loser that I think that I am. And we've just taken off. We've been very blessed. Lots of travel, lots of opportunities to meet great people. I get to be on How About That Cigar live YouTube channel. I mean, what the heck? I mean, I have now arrived. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's it's such a cool thing to see, and I encourage everybody, and we'll have you plug it again at the end of the show, but I encourage everybody to, find Bob the Cigar Guy on social media, because especially the and I may pull this up in a minute if I can find it, but the short that you did on Instagram, the reel you did on Instagram, making fun of that girl with the ASMR Bentley video with the fingernails tapping on it. That, I mean, I was already a fan, and that one like sent me over the top. Like this guy just gets it. He gets the sort of the funny, it's okay to be irreverent, and it's okay to be, to laugh at ourselves and that kind of thing. Do you feel like sometimes the cigar industry takes itself a little too seriously?
I think some of the cigar personalities do.
Okay.
It is an artisan craft. You got to think about all these farmers from seed to cellophane and all the things they do and all the processes that they can mess up, and the hundreds and hundreds of hands to make a cigar so that we can enjoy for a moment of peace or celebration is amazing. But there are some people who are drinking their Kool-Aid, and they just, you've been to PCA, you've seen it, you've been to events and seen it. And some of the personalities will stand behind a velvet rope, and they'll expect you to kiss the ring. And then there's other ones who are just amazing and extremely welcoming, and they'll sit down and hang out with you. And most of the times, some of those people just don't even talk about their cigars. They just want to hang out and have a great time. And I find it to be such a great community. And the fact that we as cigar smokers, usually when you go somewhere, you take an extra 3 or 4 cigars because somebody might want one. I don't know of any other group where people say, hey, I'll bring a bunch of extra of whatever I'm bringing to the group, and I'm going to share with everybody. And usually people don't share their junk cigars. They share their best cigars because they want you to experience the lifestyle, because they know the peace that it gives you. It's amazing how we can take a bunch of rolled up dried leaves, set fire to them, and that smoke just transcends something that gives us the ability just to grieve or to joy or to fellowship or whatever. I find it amazing. I think if the world smoked more cigars, I don't think the world would be as bad a place as it is right now.
Amen, brother.
Oh,
Amen.
That's so true. I want you to talk about, before you get to your question, let everybody know what you brought for us to smoke tonight.
We are smoking a overrated Tatuaje again.
Stop.
The Karloff line that Tatuaje puts out is one of my favorites. And they came out with the Boris Karloff here last week. It's a smaller version of it. It's freaking phenomenal. As soon as they came out, they were there and gone. So don't go looking for them. If you do, just send them to me. They're no good.
For safe disposal.
For safe disposal.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed your hat. Are you a Buc-ee's fan too?
Oh, Bubba. I love Buc-ee's. Beaver nuggets and clean bathrooms. Are you kidding me? I don't even need gas when I stop at Buc-ee's. I love me some Buc-ee's.
Is that not the greatest place to stop at, dude?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a redneck Disney World. That's what it is. I tell you, I love that dang place. And my wife loves it too, and the kids love it too. So they don't fuss and say, "Come on, let's go." It's not like you're in Home Depot and they're ready to leave. I mean, they want to hang out too. And I do find it funny that the women still have a long line for the bathrooms. Fellas can just walk right in and walk right out. I'm glad I'm a feller. So
what we do when the family goes down and when we drive down to Texas, it's like, all right, 20 minutes, we'll meet back here at this register and we'll pay for everything. But poof, and everybody just disbands.
Someday I will. I've still to this day never been in a Buc-ee's. I've seen all the.
Oh my
posts.
Gosh!
Never been to a Buc-ee's.
Oh my gosh!
So I really
either take a ton of money or take no money at all, because you're gonna spend all you have in your pocket. I'm telling you.
I think they're trying to build one in KC now, Kansas City area.
That's only 7 hours away.
I mean, we could go there.
It's worth it.
I just drove there. Was it No,
last year.
I just drove there 2 years ago.
2 years? Damn flies.
Anti-Buc-ee's over there. Y'all should do a Buc-ee's parking lot review.
Oh, Buc-ee's.
You
you could do that while you're down there. Do a Buc-ee's parking lot review. You've done that from the bed of your truck before.
Yeah.
Do that from Buc-ee's. That'd be awesome. So Allison,
what are you talking about?
we love you so. You know how much we love you, Allison, but you're anti Buc-ee's.
Why?
I need to. We need so type in an explanation.
She's
Allison.
anti-joy. That's what she is. She's anti-joy.
That's interesting. Now, you were asking about the hat.
The hat, yeah, okay. I love the hat. It's Buc-ee's hat. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how can you not? I've never even been to Buc-ee's, and I would wear a Buc-ee's hat.
And there's a couple other things you said earlier that kind of tweaked my interest. Your fellowship and sitting on the porch with your Bible.
Yes.
Elaborate a little more.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah, tell us.
I am. I actually am. I was a youth minister for about 10 years. Went to school at Liberty University, got my degree. And then myself, my wife were a youth ministry team. We did that for 10 years. And now we actually use a channel. I use a channel to share faith without sharing chapter and verse. I truly believe that we are valuable. Every last person was created with a purpose. And if we live up to, or if we allow ourselves to be who we are, great things happen and we make a difference in our lives and the lives of others. And in this world, there is so much negativity. There's so much, you're not good enough if you don't have this, that, or the other thing. And so I take the opportunity, and Chief does as well. He has the live show. He also does our videos, all the videography. He does all the other stuff. The First Lady, my wife, Sarah, she has a show as well on the channel. And in everything, we want to spend a moment just to spread positivity in people's lives. And I am a true Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ is the reason that I can get up in the morning, the reason I ever got here. And when I leave this place, I have a great place to go to. And I hope that everybody I ever talk to goes there as well. So.
Amen, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah, cigars are a great vehicle for sharing your faith and sharing your story and sharing your journey, because everybody's got their own faith, and there's different versions of the Christian faith. There's different types of faith that are, but there's also, everybody's got a journey. Everybody's got a story or multiple stories. You also serving as a Marine, and my brother served in the Corps for many years, and I know he's got a lot of stories. Everybody who spends any time on this, planet has stories to tell. And that's one of our favorite things about cigars. And I know that I've even heard you talk about this before, Bob, on your channel, that's something that you kind of identify with as well. Everybody's got stories. And if we can use those stories to connect us, and if we can use those stories to, share things that are important to us, like if it's a story about our faith and what that's meant to us in our lives, if it's a story about family struggles, if it's a story about anything, and that's one of the things we've kind of as a group talked about for the last year or so, kind of from a, standpoint of, in a lot of cases you see when you talk to guys specifically, because, although there are many women in the hobby and the industry of premium cigars, it is largely a male hobby. And that it just is what it is. And there's a tendency, where men just kind of take their troubles and their struggles and they just shove them down. And they're like, I don't want to bother the rest of the world with this. I got stuff to do. My family needs me. I've got stuff to do and all that. And for people in the cigar hobby to be able to sit around, like you said, Bob, with talking with your son, and you got more information out of your son in an hour-long cigar than you had maybe in the few years previous to that in total. And there's something about the smoke that opens people up to just talk about stuff that's hard to talk about. And
it knocks the walls down and knocks
exactly.
the guard down.
Yeah.
And you're just two human beings talking about whatever you want.
Yeah.
And cigars are amazing.
What has that meant to you over the years, Bob, as far as even because I wanted so badly to get this shirt that said niche internet micro celebrity, just because it's like, okay, nobody really knows me, but at certain cigar events I might see one or two people that are like, hey, you're the guy from How About That Cigar. And I'm sure, Bob, after this many years, you'll be at a barn smoker or some other event and somebody will say, hey, that's Bob the cigar guy. And what does that mean to you to have a chance to let that platform that you have that's been given to you, to use that to sit down and have honest, real conversations with people?
It is such a privilege and such a blessing and such a responsibility. I'm humbled when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you're Bob the cigar guy. Can I get a hug? Because I'm a hugger. And so just to take that moment and to pour into somebody's life for just a minute and just to encourage them or just see a smile on their face, it warms my heart. I mean, we use cigars as a vehicle to share positivity and encouraging messages. We do. I mean, that's the honest to goodness truth. Now, I love the fact that I'm not a refrigerator review channel. I like smoking cigars, talking to people. I can talk to people around a refrigerator. I mean, I'm all right with that too, but be Bob the buffet guy, but that wouldn't be the same. But being able to sit down with people and cigars are such a leveler. You could have a guy who's smoking a $50 cigar with a Fortune 500 company next to a guy who he had to choose to either get that cigar or go out to eat that night. He's eating peanut butter and jelly so he can smoke a cigar, and he's sitting in a lounge and he's just relaxing. When people take the opportunity to reach out to somebody and just talk to somebody, the connections that you have is amazing. Social media, Facebook, there are so many people that I call my lifelong friends that I've only met virtually.
Yeah.
I hope to meet them all one day, but I have genuine connections with people, and that comes from smoking cigars. And so it is awesome to be able to spend that time. And I get to meet you three fellers. I mean, are you kidding me? Y'all ain't no slouch. I mean, y'all been around for a good while, and you've had some superstars on this channel. I was kind of starstruck by, oh my goodness, they got a whole bunch of people on here that have done really, really great things. And then they've got me in my shed in my backyard. So hopefully I won't be the lowest number you've ever had. I bet y'all will be back next week with a whole big bangers of people watching. So there's Chris Duque. Oh man, I love that fella.
Oh, Chris, good to see you, brother.
Awesome.
I'm gonna see him in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
At the Boyle.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring me a stick, by the way. I want one of your your special sticks that Saka made for you. Please bring me one.
Yeah, the unbanded stuff that's in the bottom shelf.
He's actually got a stick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
The year of the Duque.
Year of the Duque. Yeah.
He's promised me a review at PCA. I've nailed his foot to the floor.
Nice.
He's an awesome friend. I got to review him when we first started at one of the barn smokers, and he is just such a genuine fella. He's amazing in as being in the police department in Hawaii, and then when he was basically retiring, he was ready to be done. They brought him in to do internet issues with children, and he really dove into that, and he really helped a lot of kids and a lot of families and get rid of a lot of people that are doing things they shouldn't be doing. And I need to say this: the Barber and Cigar, his name is Sammy Flo. He's a feller. I know y'all said you couldn't tell if he was a feller or a lady because it was just Barber and Cigar, but he's great. He runs a barbershop company that goes to cigar lounges. And so we're talking about hanging out and all this and that. What better thing to do than sit and get a shave or get a haircut and a shave, a close shave, waxing. Anyway, I'm trying to pull myself out of this hole. I really, really am. Firefighters and the gas is not what you're coming down here.
You can't say waxing. You can't say waxing and then follow it up with "pull me out of this hole." That's a bad combination.
Well, at least I'm not smoking your Brazilian Matafina anything right now. But if they do that at the lounges, they do pop-ups. And also they work with Drew Estate. They're a vendor for Drew Estate. And you go to a barn smoker, you can sit down and you can get a shave and you can get a haircut or a polish, or whatever you need to do. And it just makes life nice. It's just fantastic. It's one of my things I have to do at every barn smoker. Sammy is awesome. He's a swell feller for sure.
We got to get Chris on the show.
Oh, I would love to have
you.
Chris.
You do have to get Chris. Uncle is amazing.
Yeah, Chris. I'll
call you later and we'll get some.
That would be fantastic.
And I can use my back wax too, by the way. I'm just there you go. You start right here and go all the way back.
Well, how far down though?
All the way down.
Are we talking?
See, I wasn't going to ask that.
Are we talking to the crest?
Yes, all the way down,
or to the crest, or to the taint?
To the taint.
Oh,
I like pain. You know that.
No,
I'm not that committed.
Not that committed. Nope.
Oh Lord.
Nope.
You gotta try everything once.
Yeah, but you're all tatted up on your back though.
Yeah, but it's still hair back there.
No, I know, but
my deer's got hair. Oh boy. Oh, you're here. I forgot you were here. You've been so quiet over there.
Yeah. That's why you don't take off your shirt when you're hunting deer. You don't want to scare the shit out of them. You know.
I get shot in the back. It's questionable though.
So I want to jump into kind of the cigar review space because there's a lot of people out in the world doing, sort of publicly facing cigar reviews. And I like your approach, Bob. I'm curious.
I think he fell asleep.
No, I'm lighting up a cigar.
He's lighting up
my first cigar. I'm working on another cigar. I'm listening.
He's got a Sin Compromiso.
I do have a Sin Compromiso.
I like it. So I want to find out from you, Bob, how Allison, it's not a taint, it's a chin rest. Any which way. Okay, that's this is a show for grown-ups, so we can I'm definitely going to agree with that. But I'm also going to move on quickly. So
cigar reviews?
Yes. Yeah. So Bob, I'm curious how you approach a cigar review, whether it's what you decide you're going to review and kind of the steps you go through, sort of your checklist, and how you like to get the information across to the consumer.
All right. Well, first, when I started, I had lots of notes. It looked like a high school paper, and I had to read all that stuff. And now, being in it for a while, I'm not good. I'm lazy. And so I just kind of go with researching information. I try to go to the manufacturer if I can find it. If not, I will go to places like Cigar Dojo, Cigars Daily, Half Wheel, Cigar Coop, Cigar Craig. I'll look at their stuff. And when I look at those, I don't look at the taste and the flavors and this and that. I don't want to have somebody else's thought in my head when I'm doing it, but I like to get the information of the binder, the filler, the wrapper. If I find something that's really interesting about it, like let's say the Amazon basin, how they had that Berganca tobacco, which comes from the rainforest, wherever the sunspot drops in the forest, that's where they plant a seed. And then the whole process of them getting that tobacco out, I thought that was really neat. So I shared that. Then I try to talk about what I taste. I have what I call the quad system, which is the 4 things: smoke, draw, burn, and flavor. Smoke, draw, and burn, you can quantify. Has it got a good burn? Has it got a good draw? Is there a lot of smoke coming out of it, or there's no smoke at all? And then the flavors is pretty much, it's not my job to tell you if a cigar tastes good, because just because it tastes good to me doesn't mean it tastes good to you. Some people like lasagna, some people like baked chicken, some people like fish. And for me to say I don't like fish, and so anything that tastes like fish is bad, that's not the truth, because cigars are one of those things that you could have you 3 fellers be smoking the same exact cigar from the same exact box in the same exact room, and you're going to get 3 different experiences based upon what's going on in your head right now, what's going on in just your emotions, what's going on, and what's in the palate, because everybody's palate's a little bit different. And if you eat hot stuff all the time, you're going to be a lot more prone to enjoy Mexican San Andreas with a peppery wrapper. But if you like very mellow and muted flavors, you're going to lean towards something like Wagashi or Silver Mesa Elegante and Cedar or something like that. And if you like the flavors, then you're going to go into an infused place. And so I try to explain the flavors as the best I can, and I try to tell stories about it. One of the flavors that I don't like reviewing that happens in a number of cigars is what I call stillness. And the only way to describe stillness to somebody is for me is to say that if you went into a gentleman's study in one of those big, huge houses where the rich people go and they do all the big hunting back in the game hunting, and you've got the big globe with the alcohol inside of it and the leather bound volumes from floor to ceiling in the big walls, and you just go in there and you get that smell, and that's the smell of stillness. And so I try to describe the flavors in a way where it gives a word picture that hopefully you'll agree with me. But I'll tell you right now, if you smoke a cigar and it does not taste like anything that I say it tastes like, you're right. Because it's all about you in that moment.
That's a great
you,
point.
that ash and that tobacco is all that you have. So
yeah, I like that. That's the first time I as far as I can remember, that's the first time I've heard anybody say something so absolutely true. If you smoke that cigar and you don't taste any of the same things I tasted, you're right. And that's so absolutely, it's all subjective. You know, you're right. When it comes to burn, smoke production, and draw, those are absolute.
Yep.
And flavor is completely subjective. And yeah, there's some people that like pepper and some people that don't, and some people that like earthy, musty, kind of like grandma's basement kind of vibes, and some people that can't stand that kind of vibe from a cigar. So,
but I have to be honest.
Yeah,
I do know a couple people, and I don't want to be negative here, but that just have shit palates.
Well, I think
I'm sorry, it's just the truth. I
agree with you in a way. So to the point where if you get somebody, let's say that you talk to 20 of your friends who've all smoked this new cigar, and they give you their opinion on it. And then you look online and you see a lot of people that you respect who also have smoked and reviewed that same new cigar. And let's say the vast majority of them gave it, say they really enjoyed it and they gave it a really high rating. And then you got that one friend who's like, that cigar sucks. Yep. It's okay to make fun of that guy. I'm good with that.
And then you ask them, well, how many?
Maybe not make fun of him, but
I make fun of him.
You just you give him the business.
Then you got to ask him, well, how many cigars you smoke? Was that your first cigar of the day?
Right.
Was your palate clean? What you have. And then they start telling, well, I smoked 7 that day, and then I finally had that one, and shit, yeah, it's gonna be bad.
So I'm not supposed to eat a whole jar of pickled pig's feet and apple pie
cigar?
Before I try a new cigar for the first time.
If you like pickle cigars,
Pickle cigars.
That's a new infusion.
New infusion.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, pickled eggs. See, we are of the same cloth, Bob, because pickled foods, I don't care what kind of food it is. I don't care if it's cucumbers or string beans or beets or ham hocks or eggs. If it's pickled, I am here for it. I love pickled foods. Now, one thing that's kind of a northern thing, Bob, that you may not have tried before.
Pickled herring?
Pickled herring.
No, I have not.
All right. I'm going to figure a way to get some pickled herring to you.
Now, I've had surströmming. Is that the same?
No. That's rotten fish.
Because I ain't never having that again. That's
actually
like lutefisk?
That's actually intentionally rotten fish. Oh. I would never do that to you. I love you too much, Bob. I would never do that to you. We did a
video.
Yeah. And it's one of the most horrifying things you could ever have in your presence. But I would never do that to you again. I would never make you go through that again.
Pickled herring's solid.
Pickled herring is delicious. It's this, herring is a light, mild white fish that's pickled in this just fantastic brine that's just the right mix of salty and sweet.
Is that really a northern thing?
Well, it basically comes from Scandinavia, Norway, and that kind of thing. And it's so there's so many of the people from that part of the world settled in this area that pickled herring is on just about every store shelf you can walk into here in Minnesota.
I bet you can't get it at Buc-ee's.
Oh, I bet you can't.
If it starts moving up north, you will.
but it's delicious. Pickled herring. So Bob, I am going to find a way to get some pickled herring to you.
It's
so
not,
you can try it, because
it's not that hard. We'll go to the local grocery store, grab it, pack it, and send it.
Yeah, we'll just ship some to you.
Yeah,
I'll do a review of it. I'll give y'all a shout out when I do it.
Oh, we would love that. We would love that. So kind of that.
What were we talking about everyone. We were talking about something.
We were talking about reviewing cigars.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
But talking about, different foods that different people like, also wanting to know from you if you're, because I know as the days and the months and the years go on, you have less and less time to just smoke a cigar for your own enjoyment and your own relaxation. So when you have those moments, what are your favorite things to sit down and put together with a cigar, whether it's some kind of distilled spirit or beer or chocolates or food, whatever it might be? What's your favorite thing to put together with cigars?
I'm pretty plain. In the morning, it'd be coffee, a little cream, a little sugar. In most of the rest of the day, it's usually Diet Pepsi. I drink a lot of Diet Pepsi. On review days, when I'm reviewing cigars, I may do, some people say green tea, but I do like a seltzer water just to keep my palate kind of clean between reviews.
Yeah.
As far as food pairing, it feels kind of weird to eat food and smoke at the same time. I've done pairing videos and I've enjoyed them. I just find myself that when I come out to the studio to smoke a cigar, I usually have not planned. I have not said, oh, well, I'm going to pick up this to go eat this and that and the other and hang out. I always have a Diet Pepsi in the fridge. I'll pull that out if I'm going to hang out for a good while and I want to tip the elbow just a little bit. I grab one of the bourbons I have on the wall back there and I'll enjoy that. I also got it from Corona Cigar as well. The Patron Double Añejo. It's fantastic to pair with cigars because it has a lightness like a rum, but it has a barrel char like a bourbon. It's really just a lighter bourbon. I really, really enjoy that as well. So, but Diet Pepsi usually not eating much of nothing. To be honest, I'm boring. So,
no, that's not boring at all, and it's good to, just kind of keep things simple.
It may be pickled herring as soon as I try it. That may be my new thing.
Oh my gosh. I hope you'll love it. I'm so excited to send you some because it's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm the only person in my whole family that can stand it. And I'll eat a whole jar of it myself. It's so good. Now, Lutefisk is a whole different deal. Lutefisk, we're not going to put you through that because you already done
Lutefisk is good.
You already did the rotten surströmming or however you say it. Fish.
Lutefisk is good.
Lutefisk is terrible.
You're crazy.
No, Lutefisk is rotten fish jello. That's what it is. And I would not wish that.
I like it.
Oh, I can't.
I like it.
We don't want to. We don't want to.
You can send them some, Ro.
Do you want to send him Lutefisk too?
No,
I
won't.
can't do that to Bob. I like Bob too much to send him.
It's an acquired taste, Bob. Lutefisk is acquired taste, and I've meant it. I didn't ever eat it until.
Do you know what else is an acquired taste? Epicac.
You like a cock? What?
You know what Epicac is? You're a firefighter. How do you not know what Epicac is?
I don't know what it is.
Epicac is the thing they give you to drink that makes you vomit.
Puke.
Yeah. Induces vomiting.
That's what you got a finger for. Come here, kid. What'd you eat?
Oh my gosh. We went off the rails, but I'm here for it. I love it. So Bob, I'm curious. Besides the world of cigars and premium cigars and doing the stuff you do on videos and going to events and stuff like that, what do you like? What are your hobbies? What do you do to keep yourself occupied? And if you're still a working man, what do you keep yourself busy with?
As far as the job is, I work at an automotive manufacturing company down here in Greer, South Carolina. And so I'm basically what they call a reworker. So I'm a mechanic on cars that have never been driven before. They come off the line, the production assembly line. And if there's any problems, it's my job to fix it and make it perfect for the customer. I spend a lot of time doing that. We work really, really hard, really, really long hours, bunches and bunches of days. But when I have time off, I'm a builder. I'll build a deck. I'll build a fence. I have a lathe. I have a plasma cutter, a welder. I have a forge. I'm doing coin rings and all sorts of stuff. Anything that I can build and put together, any excuse that I can buy tools and use them, I do. And then I take the opportunity I have a daughter, my Gracie, and we do some projects together. Me and my son get out here, we do some projects, and then I've got 5 grandkids, and we'll do things together. And my wife, the first lady, will actually do some stuff as well. We like to create things and make things. I want to leave something as a legacy to where when I'm gone, they'll have something they can remember that they don't call me grandpa, they call me Big Daddy, but they can say my Big Daddy made that.
I like that.
I actually picked that name because I was too young to feel like I want to be called Grandpa or Pop Pop. Not that I'm saying anybody should not be called Grandpa or Pop Pop. My vanity was just too big for that. So I said, y'all just call me Big Daddy. So around here, everybody just calls me Big, and it fits, as you can see. So, I do a lot of building stuff.
Nice.
Me and my daughter are restoring a 53 or 63 F100 pickup truck right now.
I've been following that. That's an exciting project because I am obsessed with old Fords. I love old Fords, specifically Fords, and I've been like, love it or hate it, I've been a Ford guy my whole life, and I'm excited to see every time there's a new, even just some little crumbs of update from that project. I'm excited to see it.
Well, I have a lot of experience in it. I went to school to be auto body, and then I went to mechanic school. I went to machining school, and then welding. And then I worked for a British race car and restore company for a while. And then I ended up doing my own company where I did hot rod and customs and all that good stuff. So I spent a lot of time around the cars, and my kids grew up in the shop. So they were around there, and I do a lot of stuff with my son with the channel. And so that's mine and his kind of niche that we do together. And my daughter wanted to do something special with her dad, and I'm blessed for that. I love my Gracie. And so she said, let's do a truck together. And so we're working on building a truck. And so that's pretty cool. The grandkids get involved, and it's a great time.
Nice.
Bob, do you want to share what company you work for?
Sure. I work for BMW in Greer, South Carolina.
Nice.
Neat fact about that, we put out about 500,000 cars a year. We put out more cars than any other BMW plant in the world. And we produce more cars that are exported out of the United States than any other car manufacturer in the United States. And I'm proud of that because we send the money, we get the money from out of the country and bring it back into the country, which is really, really cool.
Very cool.
So a few years ago, I'm struggling to remember how many years ago it was, but you and I were actually on one of the Cigar Dojo sort of impromptu the Cigar BQ, which if anybody, if you're watching this show, you already know what Cigar Dojo is. Cigar Dojo
He's awesome.
Some of the best in the business, and they, the stuff that they produce and they put out there, and they do this Cigar BQ thing every year. And Bob and I were on there on the same episode for Cigar BQ, probably 4 years ago. I want to say 4 years ago.
It's been a good while.
And I'm curious from your standpoint, as far as there's different styles of barbecue across the country, Texas style, Kansas City style, Carolina style, Memphis style, that kind of thing. What's I'm sure you're biased based on your locale, but what's your favorite?
South Carolina style, with a spicy red sauce. My son is pretty much a pit master. He can barbecue up anything. He could do shoes and you'd still eat seconds. He's good at it. And so, any of the pulled porks, any of the sliced porks, any of the ribs, anything like that, really is my go-to, and I'll eat a bucket load of it. And you were talking about Cigar Dojo. Eric is amazing. I got to go to the last cigar safari from Drew Estate. We got invited and it was a media. Half the people there were media, and Jack Heyer was there. He was working with Drew Estate. Jack Heyer used to work with Eric. That's how I got into the industry. And Eric was there, and I was petrified because here I was, a T90, tiny little nothing, and I'm sitting here next to him. And so we talked for a couple of days during the safari, and I said, "Is there any way I can do a review with you of your Drew Estate cigar?" And he was so kind. And so we sat down and we got to do a review on the veranda, which was one of my red letter moments. Yeah. But then the last day, it was chewing at me. When you have masters in their craft sitting there and you don't ask them questions, you're about an idiot. And so I looked at him and I said, we got a long ride back to the airport, and I just want to ask you some questions. And Jack Heyer has been a good friend of ours for a long time, me and my son. And so Jack said, yeah, go ahead, ask your questions. And so I started asking Eric questions, and I just kind of laid out where our channel was. And so he says, okay, you need this kind of lighting, you need this kind of microphone, you need this kind of this, and what kind of editing software do you use? And I said, oh, I guess I need to get a computer. And because at that point, we had a shed, but we had electricity run from drop cords from the house out here. And we ran a 200-foot coax cable or Cat5 cable from my internet connection inside the house behind the TV out here so that we could broadcast. Yeah. And it was hilarious. And Eric actually was trying to get on the phone. He couldn't get service. He was going to buy me a computer, for goodness sakes. But he is one of the most kindest and awesome people. He's one of the people that really gave me the drive to keep going. Him and Tim Swanson. Tim Swanson really great. Poured into me. Tim is fantastic. Ava's done great for us. Steve Saka has done fantastic. All the Drew Estate people have done so much for us. We are just blessed to be where we are because that we've got to stand on the shoulders of those people and the true OG. Cigar Coop as well. Cigar Craig. They're just fantastic and phenomenal. I would love to be a tenth of who they are. And I can put y'all on that list of people that I strive to be like, because y'all got this thing going on. Your chemistry is fantastic. Even though Justin talks way too much. Oh my God. I can't get a word in edgewise. That guy he's a magpie. He just chatterbox. So.
Oh yeah. So Bob, do you honestly like Cigar Coop?
I like Cigar Coop. Cigar Coop is, I guess, like that lucrefish thing that you're talking about.
Love Cigar Coop?
It's an acquired taste, but he talks baseball a lot. And I know y'all were talking baseball. I don't talk baseball. I talk cigars, but
who doesn't love Coop? I don't know. I love Coop. Coop is a national treasure. Coop is a national. We love. He's going to listen to this, and he's going to give you
Mr. Sponsored background. He's got the biggest sponsored branded background of anybody I know, and I watched the first time. I'm like, oh, we're going to be talking about Espinosa or whoever was on the back of there. And he's talking about somebody totally different. I'm like, how does Espinosa not get mad that his name's on there when he's talking about somebody else? And it's Coop. Coop is Coop, right?
You can't get mad at
love Coop.
Yeah. We love him. I just like busting his balls every once in a while.
Well, Bob, I gotta say that I agree with you so much about, the Eric and Jordan and everybody from Cigar Dojo, because back 10 years ago, actually more than 10 years ago, when I joined just as a fan, I get on the app and I join Cigar Dojo and I start interacting and posting and get involved on the Cigar Dojo app and made a lot of great friends through, like you mentioned before, some of the people that you consider great friends you've never actually met in real life. And that was me on Cigar Dojo. And then they had their first ever Drew Estate Cigar Safari for Cigar Dojo. And when they announced that, I signed up right away. So I was so fortunate in 2015 it's so funny because before I booked the trip, I talked to my wife about it and I said, hey, I'm going to go to Nicaragua and tour some cigar factories. And she said, who are you going with? I was like, some people I've never met before. And her, of course, her alarm bells go up. She's like, I don't know about this, but so I show up in Nicaragua, and it was so funny because not only Eric and Jordan and all these other people from, who were just like members of the Cigar Dojo community. I show up at this hotel in Managua before we get on the buses to go to Esteli, and they're sitting at a table or by the pool when I arrived, and I took my stuff to my hotel room, and I go over there and join them. And it was like we were old friends. And it was literally the first time we had ever met in person. And it was like we're old friends, and we sit down and we start talking about, we talk a little bit about cigars, but, because we had never met each other before, in real life, we're talking about our families and our kids and our jobs and life and that kind of thing. And as much as the conversation would inevitably, because we're all cigar nerds, the conversation would inevitably kind of go back to, the leaf. We're just connecting as people. And I have considered Eric and Jordan and the people from Cigar Dojo lifelong friends ever since then. And I got to echo what you said, Bob. Those guys are, I consider them pretty much the best in the business. They are the sort of the, the tower to look up to, because they do such great work. And how about that cigar wouldn't be what it is today without Cigar Dojo and Cigar Coop and Blind Man's Puff and Half Wheel, and so many people have been helpful to us along the way, and that's what it's all about. It's sort of one of the people in the cigar industry said it's a creative competition. Like we're all vying for our own space in the world of premium cigars, but we're helping each other along the way. And I have been so incredibly entertained and have enjoyed so much of the content, Bob, that you have put out and the time that you've spent and the work. I know it is actually work. And so we just want to say that we're grateful for what you do for the cigar industry, for the average cigar smoker that's out there that just wants to take a minute to learn a few things and laugh for a little while. Just thank you for what you're doing, and keep up the good work, brother.
You're awesome. Thank you very much. That's cool.
So
I appreciate it.
Let's talk about this charity and the giveaway you gave, the amazing giveaway you gave for COVID.
Oh, we've done some crazy stuff. The plant got shut down, and we wanted to give back. And we've been blessed with great sponsors, and so we have a lot of stuff. And so what me and my son decided to do is we did what we called the Smokeonomy Stimulus Package, to where every night we would do a live, and I think it extended, but it was like 34, 35 days. Every day we were giving away a giveaway. We're on for an hour, just being encouraging and funny, just giving people something to do when they're sitting in the house with nowhere else to go. And we would give away 20 cigars plus hats plus cutters. I think we gave away like $18,000 worth of stuff by the time it was over. And then we've done a couple other huge giveaways where we give away stuff to about a couple hundred people. And that will go into the $20,000 worth of stuff. And we don't make any money off of it. When we do the bigger giveaways, we do raffle prizes, and we charge you like $15 or $20 for a ticket. You can buy 2 tickets, but every ticket's a winner. And so all that money does is it just pays for our shipping, because you're a small channel. If you tried to give away 300 packages through UPS or USPS, you'd be broken and no power would be on in the house. And so
that's right.
And so we just do great big giveaways. David Floyd's like the pool ball drawing winner. That was fantastic. So when we did the giveaways, some people's internet doesn't come up fast enough. Other people are faster than others just because of their service. And so what we would do is we would have the first 15 people would answer the question right, and their name would get put in, and each one of them would have a pool ball. And I had a bunch of pool balls in a big old box, and I would shake the pool balls that we pull that one out, and that would be the winner. And so we did that just to give back, just to be encouraging, just to give somebody something to look forward to. Because let's face it, when COVID happened, there was really not much to look forward to. You were just stuck. I mean, you can only watch so many Netflix movies, right? And so it was just something that you could say, okay, today I'm going to get up and I'm going to do nothing until 7:30 or whatever time we did it. And I'll get to tune in for a while and have communications. When we do our Thursday night show, Chief does a Thursday night show called Chief Talk live at 8:15. Nice little plug right there. Shameless. We have lots of comments, and it's really interesting. People will have comments going on in the comments, and it will have nothing to do with what we're talking about. They're just catching up and talking about their days. And it's just so neat to see that the community, we're just there to open the door so people can be people with everybody else. And it's just fantastic. It's wonderful. Not that I'm saying that people shouldn't watch the content Chief does, because he does great content. But if they just want to sit there and laugh and talk with each other, we are more than comfortable with them doing that as well. So we do huge giveaways. We just started this year, January, second Saturdays with the First Lady giveaway live. It's every second Saturday at noon. It's not this month because we're going to be at PCA. We won't be doing it. We'll be doing it later. But you come on to the show. First Lady is not a cigar smoker. She loves a cigar smoker. That's me. And I guess she loves her son a little bit. But she loves us, and she's been to Barn Smokers, and she's been to PCAs, and she's been to lots of events, and she loves the culture. And so she comes at it from a perspective of the people who love cigar smokers that don't smoke cigars. What can you expect, and what is that lifestyle about? And it's an extension of the family. And in doing that, we do huge giveaways. Last week we gave away 12 cigars plus a box of Cubans and a whole bunch of swag and everything else. And so we do that. And the only hook to get people to watch is that you have to be you have to be on to win. You have to be present to win. And so that's one of the things we do. And I got to throw up them shameless plugs when I'm on your international channel, for goodness sakes. I'd be dumb if I didn't. That'd be dumb. I'd be dumb if I didn't plug that stuff. So.
Plug away. So I'm wondering,
is it time?
Do you think it's time,
Justin?
Yeah,
it's time.
Yeah. All right, guys, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so Bob, Numero de los Muertos, if you're not familiar, it's weird, but it's our viewers' favorite segment of every show.
And this week's Numero de los Muertos is given to us or presented by, or however you want to say it, by Toe Jam Footwear.
By Toe Jam. Toe Jam Footwear.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good company. You better watch out for it.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah, they're up and coming. All right. So basically, Bob, I'm going to give a number, and you, along with Justy and Raul and our viewers, get to play 20 questions to try to decipher what this number is of how these people died. It's a number of what the cause of death was for this number of people. It's weird. It's dark, but it's
a fan favorite,
our absolute fan favorite segment of the week. So this week, the number is, and I know this number is going to hit you like, well, that's broad, but here we go.
Okay.
On average, approximately 25 to 50 people die every year from this in the United States.
25 to 50.
25 to 50 people on average per year die from this in the United States.
Lutefisk.
Not lutefisk.
not death by pickled fish.
Pickled fish, no.
No.
Magical Nuru gel. David,
he's not supposed to put that on your pee-pee.
You're one of our favorite viewers. I don't even want to Google that. I'm scared to Google that. I'm not no. I don't think my brain could handle what search results come up from Googling that.
Is it land or sea?
Land.
Are animals involved?
Animals are not involved. So Bob, you get the gist of it. You just, break it down, find, locations, causes, or activities, that kind of thing.
Oh, because I was going to say, it's not husbands who don't know if they've been married 26 or 27 years.
You better hope she doesn't watch this episode.
She's watching. She loves me.
That's just random. I just thought that out of my head. We didn't talk about it.
I know. That could be
our car's involved.
That could be as high as
our vehicles involved.
Vehicles are not involved.
Okay.
Is it weather related?
It is. Well, okay. So it can be weather related, but it's a very, very small subset in this particular stat.
So not death by Christmas tree shaped toys during that.
Allison, that's a big negative.
Okay.
On that one.
This week. Is it north or south?
I'm not prepared to answer that question. Yeah.
Is it males or females?
Either.
No animals are involved.
No animals are involved.
No vehicles are involved.
Nope.
Are they self-inflicted?
I mean, not intentionally.
Are drugs or alcohol involved?
Involved. I'm sure that there's a small subset of these cases where, people were drinking or doing drugs, but that's not the overarching cause or activity that they're involved in or place or anything like that.
Are firearms involved?
Firearms are not involved.
Allergies or consuming food or drink?
Excellent question. No, it is not involved with allergies or consumption of food or beverage.
Somebody else says erotic asphyxiation.
That's my son. Oh my God. Boy, go to bed. Oh my God. We're supposed to be a family-friendly channel, and that's what you come up with?
You know what is funny is that's Skip Martin from Romacraft. That's if ever he's watching, and he watches frequently, that'll be his guess. He'll say autoerotic asphyxiation. And we actually did that as one of the Numero de los Muertos years ago, but that is not it. Allison says, is actually the Barber and Cigar Company, is it parasailing? No, it's not parasailing. Allison says, is water involved? No. Not. No.
Okay. Hey, you got the
not,
thing,
not directly.
So it's not getting waterboarded to death?
No, it's not. Water. No. The way I'm answering this question should be a big hint, but no. No.
Sometimes.
But sort of, but no.
Yeah, Dave Floyd's got it. No.
Yeah, David, you guys understand what I'm saying. Ice. Ice. No. But
steam?
No. No.
Solid water's ice.
Death by straight razor.
Not straight razor.
Impaired.
Not impaired by ice.
I said steam, David.
Yeah, not steam.
Is it
flatulence involved?
No.
Is this outdoors?
Outdoors, yes.
Falling into a geyser?
Not falling into a geyser.
Is it when you go from the sauna to the ice plunge?
No.
Having a heart attack?
No, it's not related to like rapid temperature change or anything like that.
David, I'm so gonna miss you this year.
David's not going to be at the boil?
Nope, he's too cool for us.
Oh, man.
When you go to their funeral, is it an open or closed casket?
Oh, that is the first time anybody has asked this in 283 episodes, and that is one of the best questions I've ever heard. Wow. I'm gonna say open. I think open in almost every case. Yeah, that's a great question.
Death by
Wow.
dry sauna.
Death by dry sauna. No.
Death by slipping.
Not slipping, not haircuts, not ice fishing, not slipping on a puddle, not eating deviled eggs.
Oh man.
We tend to
If
kill
it was-
others after eating deviled eggs, not ourselves.
If they listed it in your eulogy in the newspaper like they used to do, would your family be disappointed, embarrassed, or proud?
Good question.
I'd say in most cases, I can't speak for every case, but I'd say in most cases, embarrassed. Great question. And Bob is coming with like some of the best
Fire.
Numero de los Muertos questions I've ever heard.
Dry drowning?
Dry drowning. What on earth is dry drowning?
That's what goldfish do when they fall out of the freaking.
Oh,
aquarium.
no, it's not that.
Water poisoning, consuming too much water.
Nope, no, we did that one already
Falling
on
out
the
of
show.
a tree.
Not falling out of a tree. It's not
It's a mouthwash.
not mouthwash. No, this is a
It's not near
this is a it is a very particular type of activity that people engage in.
Are you dressed when you die?
Yes, you are not naked.
Oh, so it's not
Are
straight
you alone when you die?
Usually not in this particular activity. Slipping on Diddy baby oil. Wow, you people are just digging deep tonight. I love it. I love it. It's not. It has nothing to do with baby oil. David Floyd.
What?
David Floyd, snow skiing. That is the correct answer.
What?
What?
That is so.
How did we not get that?
On average, approximately 25 to 50 people die each year at ski resorts in the United States, with a fatal incident rate of around 0.74 deaths per 1 million skier visits. So
Don't happen in the South.
here's the breakdown.
Well,
So
hold on. Colorado's the South.
Colorado's
No,
not
it's
south.
Colorado's
It's
not
south
south.
of us.
Colorado's not south. Colorado is west.
Southwest.
It's middle
Right.
west, but it's not Midwest, but it's middle west. Yeah, Colorado.
It's south. to me.
I do not consider Colorado the South by any stretch. And anybody who lives in the South, they would, if you asked if Colorado was in the South, just like Bob said, that yeah, absolutely not. All right.
Agree to disagree.
So the National Ski Areas Association reports a 10-season average fatal incident rate of 0.74 deaths for every 1 million skier visits. In 2022 and 2023 season, they reported 46 deaths at U.S. ski areas, with 42 males and 37 skiers. I don't know why that's broken. This is Google AI, so take it for what it's worth. While many assume head injuries are the primary cause of death, experts say that collisions with trees at high speeds are actually the most common cause of deaths for skiers.
It's not the speed. It's the other stuff.
Yeah, it's not the speed; it's the object that you crash into.
Oof. That's why I don't ski. Puerto Ricans don't ski.
Puerto Rico, yeah. Other factors. The majority of fatal incidents occur on intermediate terrain, and a significant portion involve collisions with other skiers, the snow's surface, or trees. They also track other catastrophic injuries defined as life-altering injuries, such as paralysis, with 53 such injuries reported in the 2022 and 23 season, 42 of which were male and 44 were skiers. I don't know why they're wording it that way, but and some of them are avalanche deaths, but very few actually.
That would suck.
And in Colorado alone, there were at least 17 deaths at ski resorts in the 2022-2023 season. Only one person of all those stats, only one person died while skiing while they were wearing a helmet. So the vast majority are
Head injuries.
Head injuries.
David, of course, everybody smells smoke. It's a cigar show. Come on, David.
Yeah. I mean, story checks out. Story checks out. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right. It is time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. So I am really enjoying this rye. It is extremely aromatic, very flavorful. When I first started drinking it, it seemed like it was really high proof, but I don't necessarily think now that it's like insanely high proof. I'm going to say this is somewhere between 113 and 118 proof.
Well, you could be right, because my picture I took of the bottle, I can't read what proof it is. So you could be right, you could be wrong.
Okay.
I don't know.
We can look it up if we get the just the actual name of it. As far as ryes go, I tend to be more of a bourbon guy. And I'm trying to think of your collection as far as what ryes you have. I know you got some Old Elks in there. I think you've got some Whistle Pigs in there. I think you've got some Wild Turkeys in there. I think you've got a bottle of the tall, skinny bottle of the Willet rye. I'm pretty sure.
I do.
This one has, I mean, it does have that rye kind of spice, but there's a lot of natural sweetness to it too, which I really enjoy. So because I'm not really a rye aficionado, I'm gonna just
you can't use that excuse because you're a bourbon guy and you don't get most of the bourbons right. So
that's true. Good point.
I'm just saying.
No, yeah, that's totally fair. I'm gonna just go with.
I do have a Austin rye. Excuse me.
I don't think it's Overholt. I don't think it's Overholt. I'm going Old Elk.
Wrong.
Okay. All right. Let's reveal it. What do we have this week?
It's a rare breed.
Oh, it is Wild Turkey. We had who said what? Allison said Wild Turkey. All right. So we have Wild Turkey rare breed Kentucky straight rye whiskey, barrel proof. And I'm going to zoom in here.
You can't see it.
Yeah, you really can't see that. Yeah, unfortunately, it's way off to the side where the label curls around. You can't read the proof.
You know who he looked like a little bit?
What's that?
He was with the way he was just sitting back there. He looks like Mickey Peg a little bit.
Mickey Peg from All Saints.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I feel sorry for that fella.
Bob is far more handsome than Mickey Peg. But all right, so Wild Turkey rare breed, barrel proof, rye. So that was tonight's Spirit of Mystery, which I got wrong again.
It's okay.
I've gotten what am I at? 6%?
I'd say
8%?
6.5.
Yeah. I don't have a great track record but there's so many whiskeys out there. It's like picking especially with your collection, a guy who doesn't even drink. And I've got to pick out, what it might be from 160 different bottles.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less.
Yeah. The numbers are against me, but I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. It's still nice to enjoy it.
And I haven't even opened the bottom drawer up yet.
That's a good rye. It's definitely a good rye.
I'm happy you like it.
All right, let's jump into the lightning round. Now, Bob, these are some fun, quick, non-cigar related questions, and it's especially fun because you've never been on the show before, so we get some of the OG, old school lightning round questions. So, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
I would have to go with "Here Comes the Boom." I think of the movie. That's just
excellent choice.
It's a lazy answer, but
No, it's not lazy. I honestly think
That might be the first time.
only a couple people I think have given that answer before. Maybe only one. You might, yeah. So that is not a common answer, and I think it's a fantastic answer. So that is very, very well done. All right, Raleigh, this has become one of my favorite questions.
All right. So, what is the most underrated and overrated fast food franchise out there?
Oh Lord, and I'm a connoisseur of fast food. I would say overrated is McDonald's. I mean, it's everywhere and it just stinks. So that would be the overrated. Underrated, God knows. It's more underrated down here in the South, and I would say In-N-Out. I love
Okay.
In-N-Out. When we go to Vegas for PCA or something like that, or we go somewhere else that has one, I would we stop and get some the animal burgers and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
The
So you don't
carnivores and
have
all
those. You don't have those where you're at.
that. Not in my area.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have them up here either.
No, I like
the only time
Whataburger.
I've had it is in Vegas.
Yeah, that's when we have it.
Yeah.
So
All right, Justin. This is the big one.
All right, Bob, you ready?
yes, I hope.
The zombies are coming. You get
Yes.
to pick 3 people to be on your zombie apocalypse survival squad. Who do you pick and why?
People from the cigar industry.
I'm trying to think of who's slower than I am, because I just have to outrun them, and who's smarter than I am because zombies eat brains, and so I'd probably be safe just standing in a crowd. All right, I consider my son to be in the industry, and he is 6'3.5", and he's huge and swole, and I could probably pull the "I'm your dad, you must save me" card. So I would pick him. I would pick Law Ream, who's now with Zeno. He used to be with Republic of Debauchery. He's been in the military. He's awesome. He's fantastic, but he's faster than me, so I would probably have to hobble him before we started the fight. And then, I would say Steve Saka, because if we survived, he would tell the story so well, and he'd bring cigars. And so cigars actually avoid zombies. Zombies do not like cigars because you have to be smart to smoke a cigar, and they are not smart. And so they don't understand the cigar smoking lifestyle. So those would be my 3. But now I'd pick the 3 of y'all as well, because I think I not run most of them. The fireman, I don't know if I'd be able to beat him, but he'd have an axe. So, and a ladder, and so we'd be good there. So,
And we may or may not have a lot of guns, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And ammunition, allegedly.
All mine got lost in a boating accident.
Yeah, mine too. It's weird.
It's
weird. They all sank to the bottom of a lake somewhere.
Yes, and I can't find them anymore. My GPS went down with them as well.
It's weird. It's too bad.
There's another question I want to ask him, just because
he
does interviews too. So, if you had your own talk show, who would be your first guest? And this person could be dead or alive.
I see. That's a hard question. I thought you were asking 3 questions.
Yeah, I changed the game.
Yeah,
that's how we do.
He's changing the game up.
And why?
Yeah.
See, anybody, and I'm going to use Groucho Marx for this, when he said that any organization that would have me, I wouldn't join because they're a bunch of awful people. So if I had my own talk show, then, I don't think anybody that was worth watching would be on my show. God knows. That's a hard question. I mean, of course, you could say Jesus, and then everybody's going to go, "Oh, that's cool." And then you can say some superstar, and that would fit well. And I don't know. And I know that's a crappy answer. So,
no, that's not a crappy answer at all. It's a lot. There's a lot of ins and outs to that.
I've used the Jesus one too.
Yeah.
It's an easy one, right? Who's going to argue with Jesus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you can get away with that, but that's a mailed in answer. To be honest, somebody from like the Revolutionary War, to be honest. And just sit down and listen to them talk about, maybe somebody that came over on the Mayflower with a dream to be an American citizen, what America was going to be, and all this and that. That would be kind. I mean, we're coming up on 250 years, which is amazing. And so to be able to just hear their perspective of something like that, somebody who doesn't have a voice, I probably want to have on the channel so that they could have a voice and tell their story.
I like that. That's really good.
Yep.
All right, let's do this week's notable smokables. So, Bob, on notable smokables each week, all of us name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for many decades, but we haven't smoked it in a long time. We just smoked it for the first time ever. Or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that you smoked for the first time. So what's something that you smoked recently that really stood out to you?
I'm going to pull it out. Let me find it. Hang on just a second. I have cigars everywhere in my studio.
We know the feeling. We can relate.
This is it. This is a new company, Natura Cigars, and this is the Frisian, which is the Mexican San Andreas wrapper. Fantastic cigar. If a Diet Pepsi costs you $2.50 around where you live, you buy 4 Diet Pepsis or you can buy a cigar, right? I know YouTube doesn't like saying price points. So it's a brand new company. They did vegetables, and COVID happened, and they had all these greenhouses, and nobody was buying tomatoes, evidently. And so he was going to lay off a ton of people. And the guy decided that he didn't want to lay off people. He wanted to get into cigars. And so he uses greenhouses to grow these cigars. And there's a longer growing period. And that cigar is brand new. I think it's 2 years old. The company's 2 years old. And that cigar just blew me away. It has such a blend that I was so impressed with, because usually, you got to kind of get into you got to start amassing tobacco. You got to start selling cigars so you can buy the first primings of tobacco instead of whatever's left over after all the big guys get it. And they really hit their blends running. Fantastic cigar. So
nice.
That would be, and I'm not sponsored by them. But if you're watching, I can only use it for sponsor. But it's a great cigar. It is.
Nice. Raleigh, what's the notable for you this week?
I gotta say the one we just smoked.
I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I'm still it's down to the the nub, and I'm still enjoying every puff from it. So the Boris Karloff from Tatuaje, very nice.
That's mine.
All right, Justy, what's notable for you this week?
I mean, that was good too.
Yeah,
it was delicious. But I went with the Alec Bradley Magic Toast I had a couple years ago.
Are you serious?
Shut the fuck up.
I literally, dude, I wrote the exact same cigar on mine for tonight.
Yeah.
Alec Bradley Magic. That is so weird that
4 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Popped it out. Yeah.
That is so funny. We named the exact same. Yeah, I wrote that on my podcast script earlier today. I was like, I smoked it over the weekend.
Yep.
And I hadn't had one maybe since they came out.
Right.
Like it was like 4 years ago, wasn't it?
So,
yeah. And crazy good blend.
Unfortunately, is that one of the ones on the chopping block?
I think it might be. I think that one might be on the where they're gonna put that in, like, hiatus for a while. Hey, jinx. And it'll probably, but they've all got those predicate brands in their back pocket. They'll pull them out in a few years and be like, hey, the new
release.
New release. Yeah. I don't blame them. I would do the same thing if I were them. All right, coming attractions. This is what we have on the show over the next few weeks. Next week, March 31st, we talked about him just a few minutes ago. Jack Heyer from Camacho Cigars, one of our favorite people in the cigar industry. Absolutely love that guy. So cannot wait to have him back on the show. And then on April 7th, we have John Carney coming back on the show, but this time with a new company. So he's now with Bentley Tobacco, and excited to hear about that new project and see what they all have going on. And that is what's coming up on How About That Cigar over the next couple weeks. Bob, if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea, where is the best place for them to keep up with everything that you guys have going on, from whether it's Bob the Cigar Guy or, you know, all the others, because I know you guys are working on a lot of different things. Where can everybody keep up with what you have going on?
We got a ton of stuff going on. We have a Facebook page, Bob the Cigar Guy. I also have my personal Facebook, which I answer a lot quicker, which is Bob Finley. Then we have our YouTube channel, which is our main drive. We have Instagram as well, but the YouTube channel is Bob the Cigar Guy. So it's the Instagram channel. And then we've got a ton of videos we put out. We almost work as hard as How About That Cigar. We have on Tuesdays, we have Drew Estate videos. On Sundays, we have basically it's just conversations and stories and encouraging stuff brought to you by Dunbar and Tobacco and Trust. Fridays, we have a podcast. I got the Smokes Let's Ride podcast with me, Bob the Cigar Guy. Thursday nights at 8:15, we have our live show, our virtual HERF. That's with Chief Talk. And then what else do we have? We have something else. We're also going to PCA. We have lots of PCA coverage. And every night at PCA, we will have the PCA After Dark live that I'll just be sitting there talking to the phone and kind of telling everybody about what I've seen. There are going to be tons and tons of new releases at PCA. And so you kind of get to see what you want so that you can tell your purveyors, hey, you need to pick up a box of this because I'd really like to give this a shot. So I think and second Saturdays with the First Lady live at noon, where you can win those awesome giveaways. You get to see the First Lady and see why I love her so dang much. And I think that's about it, and other reviews and stuff. So I'm a lazy guy. I don't do much work. So,
well, Bob, we appreciate all the work that you and everybody, in your family and your team and everybody puts into it. And so grateful to you for being on our show tonight. And we had an absolute blast talking to you, brother. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was fantastic. Y'all make it easy for people to sit here and have conversations. It's like we've been friends forever, and your chemistry and the way y'all flow together, and it's fantastic. I don't have a lot of time in my life, but I'm going to start tuning into y'all regularly because y'all are just
we appreciate that.
So y'all are just awesome. So thank you for letting me be on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure. So for our viewers and listeners, of course, guys, we thank you so much for watching and listening. You are the absolute best part of How About That Cigar Live. And we thank you so much for spending your evenings with us. If you have any questions for us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Be sure to click on all of the big, beautiful buttons, the like button, the follow button, the subscribe button. Any of those buttons, make sure that you won't miss anything that we have going on, and we do appreciate it so much. Be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. We will always be at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.